I've got this listing. It is sitting on the market, makes zero sense to me. I think that what I've noticed, and I know you and I have talked about it, a lot of buyers are a little bit concerned. They've really taken the national news and run with it, and they're putting their head in the sand before they even get all the information. And this particular property is so unique because it has that potential of a rental. I wanted you to walk me through the buyer experience that you've done for my buyers countless times, because I think it's really amazing to have that experience, and taking this as a model for that experience specifically, because it's easy for me to say it's got all of these great assets and benefits and things that are going for it, but it makes a huge difference to go as a buyer through the process to see exactly what that means, instead
Yep.
of just me, the agent, trying to sell the house, talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I agree with you, by the way, is that regardless of any market, there's always great buys and great sells in any market there is. And right now, I think there's like an unprecedented opportunity for people if they can find a place that makes sense. And really the fact, Michael, is that people are worried about two things: investment, right? And they're also worried about affordability. So we can address both in this. And this particular listing that you have is incredible for both. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm just going to walk you through a couple of models and ideas that are factual that can show people that, hey, this property A is special and this does make sense from a number standpoint, whether you're buying it for straight investment, whether you're buying it to live in, or you're buying it for both, which is what I'm going to show you. Okay. So there's three different models that I'm going to go over. Okay. So the first one here, and I'm going to unclick all these highlighted items to start. Okay. So the first one, this just shows your listing at 846, and is it Reichert?
Reichert, right.
846 Reichert, number 16. Before I go into this, what's special about it, Michael? There's a legal rental unit, correct?
Yeah, right. So unique to it, first of all, it's in a 16 unit complex. It's number 16. It's an end unit, so it's got like more windows, more natural light, but these are all very similar models in that they're tri-level. On the ground level, in all but two of them, is where you pull into the garage. It's an attached garage. The way that this place is oriented is such that you could never park a car in there. So the seller took the dead space, went through the HOA, and the town of Novato got it approved to have it turned into an income producing asset. And so instead of a garage, it is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath studio. Well, it's a studio. It's not a bedroom, but full bathroom and a studio with, a good size square foot storage. It shares the same front door. It's in the same envelope as the rest of the property. So it's not like a separate entrance situation, except that, it is, but you got to go through the front door. And my client was renting it out for the last 10 years. She had the last 7 years was the same tenant, and she never raised his rent. She was getting $12.50 a month. And it really helped offset her expenses. It actually kept her there for a lot longer.
So what's interesting to me about that, and I'm going to dive into these numbers for everyone, is that number one, the super special part of this is that this is a legal is the key word, legal rental unit. We've seen plenty of times in our career where everyone is marketing, hey, great rental opportunity, but it's an illegal rental unit, right? So this is a legal rental unit that has been converted, which does not come by very often at all. So
I've never seen a unit like this, like a condo.
Yeah.
With a rental unit, legal rental unit in it. Like, sure, people rent rooms out in their condos. This is a completely different animal.
Yeah, so completely separate space, separate unit, shared front door. That's it. They make a right. They're in their home in the studio.
Left, but yeah,
so,
same thing.
Left. They make a left and they're in their home. Okay. so let's look at the numbers. So I thought that was important though for everyone to know first, is that this is why it's so special. is that not only is it a great place to live, etc., for yourself, but it literally has a legal second unit that you can use to help offset. And everyone is always interested in, how do I invest in real estate, especially if you don't own any real estate yet? How do I buy a house, but also have investment property, right? Like at the same time. So when we look at the numbers, and what I thought was absolutely fascinating, so I'll pull this up first, is that what I'm showing you here is just a presentation that shows the list price of $695, okay, with a $625,500 loan amount. So this is a 10% down payment for someone that was going to buy this. Market interest rate today is right around 6.99% on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So that means that your rate is never going to change moving forward, but if rates go down, you can also refinance it, which we'll get into in a little bit. The payments here, including principal, interest, property taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance, and the HOA dues, so everything included, no surprises, is about $5,037.73. The total cash out of pocket, which is down payment plus all the closing costs for title, escrow, appraisal, property taxes, everything you could think of third party, is about $89,900 total out of pocket. Now, in the second column, and I'm going to unclick these here.
Can I stop you right there?
Yeah.
Real quick? That's where people are stuck with this property. They only are looking at it in this scope. And sure, you know, that might make sense for some of the buyers, but I think the people that I have in mind, and what you have in mind also, is how do I get into this market with these interest rates? And like, you know, creativity is a huge part of it. Having agents and lenders that have been through this type of market before is paramount right now for buyers and for sellers to get deals done. So I can't wait to see what you got next.
Yeah, so and you're right? So if this number is too high from an affordability issue, that is truth. We have to address it. The elephant in the room, period, is that might be too much for a lot of people, right? In order to pay on a monthly basis. And that's cool, but how do we deal with it? Right. So here is what I'm going to do is work backwards on this one. So right here, you can see this number where it says 1477. Okay. And this is under what's called monthly savings. But let's talk about what the savings is. This would be if you rented out that studio legal unit for $1,500 a month, which, Michael, in your opinion, that's pretty conservative since rents have not been raised once in 7 years.
Correct. So that's below market. You can get a renter in there tomorrow at that price.
Okay, great. So I'm using 1,500-ish a month, 1477. That's after a renter's insurance policy, etc. So I'm trying to be as accurate as humanly possible. Now, here's what's interesting. Okay, so a 695 purchase price, same down payment, same loan amount. Because you're getting the rents of 1477, 1,500 a month gross, it's the same as you paying 3.125% interest rate. Okay, it's the same, I'm going to say it again, as you paying 3.125% interest rate from a payment perspective. So you can see the payment here says $3,559. The payment is still $5,037 a month, right? But after the rental income that you get, the actual net payment is only $3,559 a month. And that includes everything: taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance, HOA, everything you can think of. You are owning this home with a renter in that unit for $3,500 a month. Now, things that this doesn't include.
This is at a 10% down payment, right?
This is just 10% down.
Yeah, okay.
So 10% down payment. Now, this doesn't include property tax write-off as well, or your tax write-off, which is all individual based on the tax bracket, which is why I didn't want to put it in here. But it's only better, not worse than this. So you can actually own this home today, and it's almost like resetting the clock back 2 years ago when rates were 3%. So you're going back in time and using rents and realizing that, oh my gosh, this is the same when I include the rental income I'm getting as paying 3.125% right now.
Totally.
Now, the second model that I made here was, well, what if someone had 20% to put down? Okay, so if someone had 20% to put down, once again, the first column's not going to change except for the monthly payment. So there's more down payment, so the loan amount's less at $556, same purchase price, same interest rate. The payment here, including taxes, insurance, HOA, is about $45.63 a month. Okay,
Mhm.
all in, putting 20% down. Total cash out of pockets around 158,000. All right. Well,
Okay.
now in the second column, once again, I'm taking this rent that I'm highlighting here, right, of about 50. It's really hard to get it exact, just so you know, but right around a $1,500 a month rent minus, a renter's insurance policy. So it has you at net rental income of around 1462, which once again we've discussed is conservative. We can rent that out 2 day, no problem, 1,500 a month. Well, when
Mhm.
you look at it, once again, that's the equivalent, if you take the rent into consideration, of paying 2.625% interest rate on the loan of $556,000. It's unbelievable when you look at it from this perspective at
Totally.
what the rents do from an opportunity cost. So once again, it shows your payments are only 3101. They're still 4563, but once you take the rent into consideration, you're all in out of pocket on a monthly basis is $3,100 per month.
And so rates today on the left column, they're just hovering around 7%.
Correct. Yeah, rate range right now is somewhere between 6.75% and 7.375%, depending on credit score and cost and all of that good stuff. So 6.99% is an accurate representation of where things are trading today.
So somebody gets in with this creative idea of throwing a renter in there, having their expenses offset to kind of more reflect something like going back in time, like you said.
Yeah,
Rates are going to come down at some point, right? They're not going to stay high forever.
correct.
So if
So
someone gets to the point where, hey, I got in, it was affordable because I had a renter in, but this is kind of more of a short-term plan. I have other ideas for this space at some point, but I'm actually starting to build my equity. This is the only way I could make it work. And then the rates come down, the options become many at that point, right?
yeah, so what I love about this is this is looking at this through the lens of like reality right now and worst case scenario, and the numbers still work great. Now rates will come down. I don't know exactly when, but I can tell you that Fannie Mae came out, who's the Federal National Mortgage Association, the biggest insurance company that creates all the conforming loans, and they run the interest rates and whatnot based on supply and demand in the market. And they came out a few weeks ago, and there's an article that you can reference, so I'm not making this up. They said that they're targeting 30-year fixed rate mortgages after the second quarter of 2023 to be around the 4.5% range, right?
Cool.
So when you look at it like that, you're not stuck in the mortgage you get up front forever. You can refinance it, and we automatically refinance all of our clients when those rates hit those targets. So you're literally going to be on a interest rate that's going to decrease in the future. Well, what does that mean to you? That means that your payments drop $600 plus a month when the interest rates move down naturally just by refinancing. So the numbers work as is, and they're really going to work in the future, but you have to buy the house first before you can take advantage of the refinance.
Totally. And yeah, I mean, maybe you want to keep the renter in.
Yeah.
That would be an unheard of equivalent of a interest rate if that was the case. So that was the point, like I know that this is a one of a kind property. It's just everybody looks at it as just a condo, and I can't express enough that it's not just a condo because it does have this asset, this rentable unit in it. So it's almost like a duplex,
Yeah.
but it's a condo, and it's marketed as a condo. I can't market it as a duplex because it's technically a condo with a rental unit. But people that are scrolling through listings and looking at pictures don't get it. So I
Yeah.
wanted to really like have an opportunity to kind of walk through the process as if I was a buyer of that place, because I know it's a good deal, but most people might have just looked at the pictures. It's like, this is out of my price range. I'm thinking, wait a minute, no, it's not. This is why. And I really appreciate you taking the time to kind of walk me through that as a buyer.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. There's actually I would love to run one other idea to give people perspective on what are called temporary buy downs. Okay,
Oh yeah,
that they could use as well.
I know
So
you and I've been doing that with our buyers right now. Those
yeah,
are
so
amazing.
temporary buy down is really interesting. So what that means is that for the first either 1, 2, or 3 years, you have a market interest rate that is under what the current rate is right now. So
Right.
I'll give you an example. There's a 3-2-1 buy down, a 2-1 buy down, and a 1-0 buy down. For the purpose of this conversation, I'm just going to focus on what's called the 3-2-1. What that means is that in the first year, your interest rate is going to be 3% under what the current rate is right now. Then in the second year, it moves up 1%. In the third year, it moves up 1%. And then if you still have this loan in year 4, it just goes to what the current rate is right now, and it's fixed forever. So it's not an adjustable rate mortgage. It's actually fixed. It just has a step up in payments over time. Now, what's really interesting about this is that number one, it gives huge payment relief right up front for buyers. Number two is that if we know that interest rates are going to go down in the near future, you're not only saving right now, but when rates go down, you're just going to refinance it anyway. So it is potentially a really big win-win for people looking to have a lower monthly payment right now, knowing that they're going to redo it in the future, and it gives great options. So let me walk you through
3-2-1 buy down, Jeremy. That
Yep.
is that's done in the form of a seller credit to the buyer. Is that right?
That's correct. So how it works is that as part of an offer or part of a negotiation, a buyer would ask for a credit from the seller. So this is a seller paid, not buyer paid, a seller paid closing cost. And it's calculated really simply. I have this fancy little sheet that anyone that's watching this, I'm happy to send it to you. It's so simple. Michael, I sent you a copy of this where you just plug in the sales price and the loan amount, what the current interest rate is, and it right here, it shows you what the credit would be for each type of buy down that you're looking for. So we're going to focus on this one, the 3-2-1 buy down right now. So if we get a $28,000 credit from the seller, okay, in order to execute this buy down, this is what it looks like. So in the first column here, I'm showing the regular interest rate, what it is today. We've already reviewed it. The payments are $5,037 a month, 10% down. The total cash out of pocket's $89,000. Now, if we executed the buy down, which starts in column number 2 here, you'll see that the interest rate is 3.99% for the first year. Okay, 3.99%. And once again, this is you get a credit of $28,668.12. Let's just call it $28,000. Okay, and as part of that offer, it lowers your interest rate for the first year to 3.99. Your payment is $38.63 in year 1. Now, if you keep it the full year and you get into the second year, your interest rate goes up to 4.99%. So your payment is $42.34. That's still $803 a month less than the current market right now. Now, for whatever reason, you keep it for that full year, which once again, I don't think anyone will. I think everyone's going to refinance, but let's just look at worst case scenario.
Sure.
Even if you keep it for that full second year, now you're in year 3, which is the 4th column, your interest rate's 5.99%. Then your payment's $46.26, which is still $411 a month. And for whatever crazy reason, maybe you went out of the country for 3 years and you didn't refinance or whatever happened, and you still have this loan in year number 4, then it just goes back to this first column. This is what your payments are for the rest of the life of the loan. And what's fascinating to me about this, Mike, I'm not even showing or taking into consideration the fact that this property has $1,500 a month in rental income on this sheet.
Right.
So you can create a lot of really great scenarios. I think a lot of people say, hey, you got to think outside the box. No, you don't. This is in the box creative thinking, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to get crazy. This is a fixed rate mortgage. This is you not paying for the credit if you can negotiate it. This is in the box creative thinking. And this is what it takes right now in order to get stuff into contract where buyers feel comfortable, have a lot of opportunity, and sellers still benefit as well.
And if anybody's been a buyer for the last 2 years, they don't even know what a credit is because there was no credits in the seller's market that we've come out of.
Right.
So it's a great time to be a buyer for these outside the box, or in your term, inside the box solutions.
Yeah.
But it does matter who you work with.
Yes.
You got, if your agents and mortgage brokers are not telling you that these are options to kind of make these rates more appetizing,
Yeah.
then they're failing you in this market, because there's so much opportunity. Sellers are still needing to sell, buyers are still needing to buy. And anybody that's listening to me on the buy side, I'm telling them to keep their eyes open and keep looking, because there are deals to be had out there.
Yep. I agree. So thanks for having me, Michael. Great listing, great opportunity. I loved, this was your idea of like, hey, I think this is a good opportunity. Can you take a look at it? And listen, you guys, I'm a skeptic. I'm always, which is good. That's why you want to hire me, is that I'm always like, I always look at both sides, right? Like, I'm like, okay, is it? Let's dive into the numbers. And when I modeled this, I was shocked.
Yeah.
This is really a good opportunity. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to Michael, reach out to me. Happy to give you more information, but this gives a really great overview of 3 different ways that you can look at buying this property that all make sense. When you take the emotion out of it, focus on the facts, this is a great buy.
Totally, man. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this for all of my buyers, but it's a nice example of what it looks like to be in the process, going through the motions, about to buy a house. So a lot of people that might be on the sidelines and thinking about it, and have decided, because of what they're hearing in the news, or what other people are saying, they're not buying, they're going to wait. They don't need to. There's lots of options out there, as long as they are working with the right people.
Love it, man. Well, thanks a million. Super appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please reach out to us, and have a great day. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Jeremy, so much. Appreciate it.